think it was, a couple weeks ago, there was a story, and I almost brought it up, but there ended up being other stories that I would bring up instead of that one. But there was, Call of Duty basically had put out this skin that was, because for Warzone, they'll have these operator skins that they'll come out occasionally, and it'll be usually the operator as well as like various weapon skins or a little charm or something like that. Well, there was this one that came out where it was like a dog, like an anamorphic dog, it looks like a human, but it has a dog face and has fur and everything. He's got this big Siberia like jacket on and whatnot. I was like, oh, that's kind of fun, just something different. Well, it turns out that it was very, very, very similar to a piece of art that was on DeviantArt, I believe, and like almost 1-to-1. And so that artist like called him out and said, hey, you guys ripped off my design for your operator in here. And they ended up kind of somewhat loosely owning up to it and saying, hey, this was a misstep. This shouldn't have happened. And they pulled that operator skin from the game. So I feel like that was only a couple of weeks ago. And now they're introducing yet another operator skin. And this one, once again, looks very, very, very similar.
No I was just going to say, didn't we just talk about this? So this is a different instance.
A different instance. Very similar.
And there was a time too, just in the news, where Call of Duty assets got ripped off in another game. Like it was like elbow pads and shoulder pads and like an antenna in the back. Wow. And Call of Duty was the one getting ripped off. And so it feels like between Call of Duty and rip off on Google, there's probably been a lot of stuff going on. But you're saying they own up to it, take it down, redo it, but still kind of thing?
No. So they took down that one. This is a totally different one. Right. This isn't like they had tried to change it a little bit. It's different. It's just every time they open every couple weeks or whatever, they introduce new operator skins. And this is like we're 3 or 4 weeks, if you will, removed from when that other one was that they pulled down. And this one looks very similar to a variant skin for the game Dead Drop, which is by Midnight Society.
What the heck?
And the strange thing about that is, I don't know all the specifics of how this works, but essentially there's this early access thing that you can get in where as people sign up for these various things for this game Dead Drop, which is not out yet, they can get like their own custom variant skin, which is like your character in the game. But one of the studio head for Midnight Society is a gentleman named Robert Bowling, who oddly enough used to be a creative director for Call of Duty back in the day, Modern Warfare 2, and I think he was on Modern Warfare 1. He showed his variant skin. And now this operator that just got brought into Warzone looks almost identical to his piece of art that was released back in like early June or something like that. So it's not as though like, oh, they're right next to each other. It'd be like, oh man, just crazy that they came up with two very similar designs. Like it's been a while since this design came out. And like they're the same color scheme. It's like this guy with like a hood on, and then he's got like a digital skull face that's blue. They both have that. And on top of that, the fact that it's ripping off Robert Bowling's design for his variant, which he used to work for Call of Duty. It's just, and Midnight Society is the game studio that Dr. Disrespect created. And he used to work for Call of Duty back in the day designs for level designs for them. So it's like all this weird stuff is like, come on, guys. Y'all just went through this just recently.
I know.
You know you're going to get called out on this. I mean, I don't know how they couldn't have just, like, they're probably going to put out another statement and be like, this was yet another misstep. We apologize,
it's funny.
Blah, 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 blah.
It's funny because back when I was a staff, like, writer for writing songs, and me and Toby talk about it all the time, like, when you're digging in to write songs, you have to be super careful about listening to the radio because stuff will sneak in that you have no... Like, it couldn't be further from your brain.
Yeah.
But it'll just sneak in there. And somebody will be like, wait, is that Harry Styles? And you're like, oh, man, that melody line is Harry Styles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, and so I can see if you're living this kind of art world that you would have seen some blue skeleton face, and you're like, oh, what if I did like a blue skeleton face? And just so I can understand how it can happen, but it is super unfortunate that it happened back to back.
Well, it happens in the graphic design world all the time. Like everybody kind of rips off everybody else.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
even just
weird.
like in life in general and other things, because there's a lot of times where people across like the light bulb or whatever, like Edison, beat him to the punch, but there are other people on the other side of the world that are like right on the cusp of doing the same thing. There's lots of times where the same ideas are happening. So I understand that kinds of thing can happen. But in this situation, in situations like this where something's been out and existed, like you were saying with the song thing, where like you don't even necessarily mean to, but you hear that beat and then all of a sudden that beat's in your song. It's like, it seems even more difficult in the art world. And it's like, but you just can't, when it's for profit, you can't do that. You got to have even more due diligence, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens if this Operator Skin gets taken down, because at the moment, I don't think, other than them saying like, because Robert Bowling even put out a tweet, he was like, at least name it after me. Like that's what he said, because his variant. So I don't know what's going to end up happening with this one, but still not a good look for sure.
Yeah,
it's not.